Okay, so why are we using asynchronous video? You're going to hear a lot more now about asynchronous video. That's just video you can watch whenever you want, right? It isn't video like you guys are watching right now. We are doing synchronous video in that we're all seeing the same thing at the same time. Um, so we're working on asynchronous video for students now so that they can access it when it works for them. But here's research that supports it. So 4 times as many people prefer to watch a video to learn how to do something to read how to do something. 2 out of 3 employees complete tasks better when instructions are visual. So either video or with photos. 7 out of 10 millennials are more likely to watch a video. And this in particular, this little research piece had to do in particular when they're shopping. Learning and educational content are viewed over 1 billion times a day on YouTube. And I can't even wrap my head around that number. People spend way more time on YouTube than I do, I think. 1 billion times a day. And those online video courses that you can access now, and I think Khan Academy is one of those examples, they have tens of millions of users. That's a lot of people. That's why we should use it, is because that's how people are accessing content for learning now. So before you even get started with video, you need to think through a few things. One is, what's your audience? And what is their attention span? A kindergarten or a K2 teacher is going to have a very different view of an audience than a high school teacher is. They know that those little people, well, even some of the big kids, can't attend for that long. And you need to think through too, for your audience, how are they going to access the video successfully, and who all is going to be watching? Are you intending it just to be for students, or are you prepared for the fact that families are going to be watching too? This is actually, I should have led with this one. Not perfect is perfect. You'll never get your videos done if you're trying to do some Oscar-worthy presentation, right? Tim and I have gotten really good at I say all the time in my videos, and I quit editing those out. I just roll with it. It's not going to be perfect, but I'm getting the job done and providing some great support content to staff and students. So just know that you're never going to get it perfect, but good enough is fabulous. You also need to think through your equipment. What camera are you going to use? You're going to use a laptop camera? Are you going to use webcam? Are you going to use your phone? All of them work great. It depends, A, on what you're comfortable with, and B, what's easiest for you. One big thing you need to consider is your lighting. If you have a bright light in front of you when you record, you can turn, you might look like a ghost, like a white blob. Tim Lewis is great at that one. Or if you have light shining behind you, you will all be in shadows. So you need to do some test recordings and make sure your lighting is good. And then always test your audio. One thing that I usually do when I'm recording video, and we can get into the specifics, is maxing out the microphone volume, not the volume you're hearing, but you can set some microphone settings. Because even though it may sound loud enough to you, depending on the device others are using, it may be really, really quiet. So make sure you're maximizing your audio settings. All right, here's some tips for planning that may help you is use a storyboard and a script. I use Amber Smith as an example. She's a teacher at Finch, and she does a lot of videos for the whole school as well as her students. And she puts up posters of her script next to her camera so she can just read from them in case she loses her place. One thing you should include is an intro and an outro, just a welcome message and a hey, see you next time message. So people know when it's starting, like they get that normal feel for a beginning and an ending. Also, keep your topic really small. You don't want to overwhelm in a short video. If you can, state your learning objective and why it's important. That's just good teaching. We still do those things even in video. And then keep your videos short. Here's a little more research for you. Studies show that if your video is less than 6 minutes, engagement is close to 100%. You start losing, so it's almost always 100% up to 2 minutes, and then it slightly starts dropping after that. When you get to 9 to 12 minutes, you only got half the people still watching, and 12 to 40 minutes, engagement's only about 20%. So really consider the length of your video. Small, digestible chunks of information go a lot better for you, for creating the video, as well as the people who are watching it. Now, make sure you're using an app you're comfortable with. There's nothing more frustrating than trying to figure out an app and the pressure of recording at the same time. So tonight we're going to go through Loom. We're going to talk about the onboard camera on your computer and the Photos app. We're going to use Teams for recording. And then you maybe, if you have an iPhone, lots of people use iMovie on their iPhone for recording video, which is great too. So we're not going to go over phone apps in particular, but Tim and I are going to take you through some great things you could do. And then, of course, test everything. Just record yourself for a few seconds, go back, play it, and make sure you can hear it. Make sure the lighting and audio are good. All right. And I'm going to caution you about editing. Like I said, I used to try and edit every out of my video, and I was spending hours doing it. Really, it's okay to say You can trim the beginnings and ends really easy with any basic video editing software, and we're going to talk through a few of those. And add a title, tie words to the content. Of course, be kind to yourself. I think everybody hates the way they look and sound on video, right? But you get used to it after you've done hundreds of them, like Tim and I. All right, saving and sharing is something else we're going to go over too. Just know that you have two things to consider. One is, are you only going to be sharing your video inside our network, or do you want public access to your video? So if you want in-network sharing, you can use Teams or SharePoint. Those allow you to keep it behind a login, right? People have to be logged into Teams or SharePoint in order to access that content. However, if you want a public sharing link, you can use your OneDrive. We turned that on as soon as school closure happened so that you could share content with families. You share it in the same way you would share like a Word document. You just go to your OneDrive, click share, and you can create a public sharing link. And then Loom, we're going to show you that tonight. Loom has a website, and it provides a link right away, and you can share that so anyone who has the link can look at it. And then finally are some tips, and we're going to talk more about these as we go tonight. But just know students want to see your face. So even if you just start the video with your camera on, it'll make students more comfortable to see that treasured face that they started, well, they went 2/3 of the way through the year with. They want to see you. That helps them engage them in the video that you've created. Also, avoid a headset if you can. I don't always. I mean, I'm rocking my Britney Spears right now. I've got my headset on. It kind of depends on your comfort. If you're going to be on screen the whole time, it can be a little distracting to have a headset on. Just, it's personal preference, but try and avoid it if it's going to be your face on screen the whole time. Just know that winging it is okay. Tim and I do that a lot. We wing it and things come out pretty much okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. Also, just a little, I kind of think of the Kardashians every time I see this. A particular episode when they were talking about camera angles. You want to slightly look up if you can when you are filming. Part of it is so your people are not looking up your nose, and the other one is it just the camera angle is just a little bit better. Also, when you're taking that little test video, take note of what can be seen in your background. You want to make sure you've checked that so it isn't distracting from the lesson you're trying to teach. Also, this is something I learned from KSPS as the elementary teachers across the district were creating content for their broadcasts, is all about headspace. Your face should be above the center of the screen just to fill more of the viewing area. And so it's just a general good tip that they provided me for placement. If you're going to be on screen, just have your head just above center. Also, if you can, look at the camera lens, um, not watching yourself on screen. That way it looks to the viewer that you are looking right at them. And of course, show some enthusiasm. Have a good time while you're doing your videos. Also, as you're editing, be careful about adding, there's some of our software, like in the Photos app that we'll show you tonight, where you can actually add flames and animated text and those kind of things. Just be careful with that. You don't, again, want it to distract from the lesson you're trying to teach. However, it is really fun to add a little bit of music and a few effects just to liven things up a little bit. Excuse me. And then make sure you're giving students something to do. You've taught them something. Now, what's the takeaway? What can they go do? So, and it's an engagement tip, right? So students want to do something with the information they've just learned. And then when you're sharing, this is something we've learned the hard way, is when you create a sharing link, before you send it out, copy and paste it into an incognito window or a private browser window to make sure it works before you send it out. So always test your links before you share them, especially as you're just getting started with doing this. So there's just some hints and tips. Again, all of what I have just gone through is going to be available to you, and we'll show you where all these goodies are at the end of our session tonight.
We're going to talk about Loom, and this is a recording resource that allows you to record your screen and yourself at the same time, or just one or the other. The reason I like it, reason number one, free, okay, and reason number two, pretty darn easy. This is a simple resource that most people can master pretty quickly, so you know, you got to think though, with that free tag on it, there's a limit to some of the things it can do, but I think it does enough things that it will pass muster for the huge majority of teachers and what we want to do with it. So I really do think it's probably the best, or at least definitely one of the better ones. So we have a couple of options. So let's go ahead and get started on how do we get Loom. First of all, one way is, so there's actually two sort of versions of it, and one is sort of a Chrome extension. So this is just sort of an add-on for a browser. And I say Chrome extension because that's what it is, but you can actually, if you use the new Edge, you can add the Chrome extension to the new Edge. So how would I do that? I could just type in, you know, I'm Googling Loom web extension, and something comes up. I can try the old Loom for Chrome. Right there, it takes me to the Chrome web store. Since I already have it, it says remove, but if I didn't already have it, I would say add. And because it's a browser extension, it's right here up in right off my address bar. The other way you'd get it is the desktop app. So I just Googled, Loom extension, web extension. Here I'm going to go Loom desktop app. Boom, just like that. And I'm going to click this one that says install the Loom app and visit this page and choose between Mac or PC. When I click that, it takes me to this where I download for PC, and it's that lickety split. Okay, so I would, you may be asking yourself, or maybe to me silently, Tim, which one should I get? I'm gonna argue that you should probably have both because each one does a little bit different thing depending on how you want to use it, and I'll show you those. And then you'll be like, oh my gosh, I have to have two things. I'm like, well, you don't have to, but I do, and I'll show you what those differences are. But they're both really easy to use. So I'm gonna get out of these for a minute here. And let's go ahead. I'm going to open up some. I just want to be on a page. In fact, we can be on there. That'll work. All right, so let's start with the web extension. Okay, so it's attached up here on my bar next to the address bar, and I'm just going to click it open. Okay, and this is what I see. Again, it's pretty easy, and of course my face pops up down there in the bottom. If you can see that, it's wonderful. You're like, yes, I'm in my unfinished basement with that glowy blob on me that Betsy talked about. I'm going to start here. So you have some options, screen and cam. So this is going to record everything that's on the screen, plus this wonderful little picture of me. And by golly, if that's not big enough, I can make it a little bigger. And yes, hold your horses. It gets like, woo. All right, that's a lot of the Tim right there. Let's get rid of that. We're going to put that down low. You can also move this around. You can also hide these buttons here if you like. And if you wanted to, you can get rid of this here, or if you just choose screen only, it would switch to the letter. But if you want the bubble gone completely, you just click the X right there. And then cam only. But I would argue, like, and Betsy mentioned this earlier, is that your kids want to see you. Okay, there's no reason to be camera shy. You're up in front of your students all the time. So it's just, you know, hey, show them your happy face, wave, all those wonderful things. Plus, they love to see goof ups too, those sorts of things. So with that, you got a couple options here in the extension. So full desktop is sort of, you know, is self-explanatory. It's going to record everything on this screen. If I open up another tab up here, it's going to record that. I have two screens going. If I bring in my other screen from the other monitor, it would record that, those sorts of things. All right. And then let's look at these options right here. Let me move this bad boy out of the way for a moment. Here's what you have in full desktop. So all I did was I clicked on the advanced options right here. It gives me the camera source. So if I had more than one camera, this is where I would choose that. The flip camera. Now this is an option that's only in the Pro version, but last I checked on Loom, the Pro version is free to teachers. I think you just have to verify, like you give them your email or something like that, and you can upgrade to the Pro version for free. So this is one of the features in the Pro version. And what this does, it doesn't actually flip the camera around, so I kind of thought it originally would record the other side of the screen, like your mobile phone. But what it does is it flips your angle of your camera. So if you had something behind you that you wanted to show, and I'm going to make this bigger to sort of give you that understanding. It's like, whoa. So if I got like I want them to see what's behind me, I'm going to flip it that way. Whoops, I got to stay. Now it's on that side. Now it's on that side. Whoa, I'm max headroom. Okay, okay, stop doing that. But you get the point there. So you are welcome to choose that. However, I just try and stay in the middle for the most part anyway. And then you have a couple other things here. Your microphone, probably the only other things, like I can't imagine you wouldn't want your control menu on there, or your recording countdown. It does a nice little 3, 2, 1, go, which is perfect. So you can kind of get ready, and you'll do that 4 times because you always mess up, right? The other option here is current tab. Okay, and so this is going to be one of the things in the browser version that is unique. And so when I say, hey, why would you want both? This is one of the options here. Notice when I went from desktop to current tab, this popped up, include tab audio. So if you wanted to, if you're going to record a video of something and you wanted them to hear, if you wanted students to hear that, you would include that. Okay, and again, this is only available on the extension version and only in the current tab option. So what that means is I can't, if I bring in another screen or open up another tab, it's not going to record that. Now I can, as long as it doesn't go away from this tab, I can go to other sites and it will still record that. So real quick, I think we're good here. I'm going to hide these options. And let's do a real quick recording. And you can see the countdown. I'm going to move my face out of the way. And now I'm recording everything here. I think there's a video down here at the bottom, so I could start playing that. Maybe, depend. All right. And then you can see the options here for me, so I can. This happens to me all the time. I probably press this button about 30 times. I just cancel it because I know I messed up. My dog's barked, or I said the wrong word, or you just mess up. So you just cancel that, start over. You can pause because I need to go do something, and then I'm going to come back and you just pick up right where you left off. And then this is, oh, I'm all done. So right there, I'm going to click that. And this is where it lands you on sort of your video editing page. And I'm going to talk more about that after I record a different one. So we're not going to worry about it here, but I want to show you the desktop app. Okay, so I'm going to click out of that. And anyway, that's, I think for the most part, that is the options and all the great things that come with the extension version. Just checking my notes here. So let me show you the desktop app. So I'm going to close that back out. I'm going to close this. Okay, and my desktop app is right here. So I'm going to double click that. All right, and it's going to open kind of a familiar, I mean, it's similar. We don't have the desktop or tab only option, but you have the other ones. So I'm going to include this right here. I'm going to move, it's lagging a little here. In fact, I'm going to do something. So there we go. It's a little laggy. One of the things that this has that the extension does not is when you click on these three dots, because it's an app, you might want to check for updates once in a while. It's usually pretty good about updating itself, but you can click on that and check it out just to make sure. If you click on the three dots, you might want to look at the preferences, and here's what you have. Again, we have that flip camera option. This is another pro addition, I guess, feature in the pro version is the highlight mouse clicks. So when you click on something, kind of flashes so that there's an emphasis there. What I find, unfortunately, is at least on my device with me, it doesn't really flash where I'm clicking. It's not quite accurate, and I don't know if it's just me, my aggressive mousing style. I'm not sure what it is exactly. But I'm going to keep that off because it's actually more of a distraction. Everything else I'm going to keep just like it is. I want that recording countdown. I'm not going to worry about my flip camera, and I want that. And I don't know about this audio thing. I think it's, I don't know that's what it is. I've never really messed with that one there. But anyway, I'm going to go out of these preferences and back to this. So you can see the controls are a little bit different. They're here on the left side. And otherwise, what I like is it gives me a little microphone check. I can say check, check, and watch that bounce there. Again, I can move this a little bit. It's a little laggy. I don't have quite the same options. I have a little bit different. Small circle, big circle. I could make myself, I'd put the camera on the entire screen if I click this. And this is, I believe, turning it off, showing the letter there. So let's go back to the full Tim bubble there. All right, so we're going to move that kind of back down here. All right, let's go ahead and record. So again, we don't have the other option of the tab. So let's record here, and it'll give me that. It's going to give me the choice. Since I have two monitors running, it's going to ask me which one I want to record. I'll go ahead and click this one, and it'll give me the countdown. Now listen. I don't know if you heard the little ding ding. Okay. This one gives you, the desktop version gives you that sort of chime that I call it the ding. And so you want to kind of wait, so because it goes 3, 2, 1, and then if you start talking, it's going to go ding ding, and then you'd be like, dang it, oh, I messed up. And you might even want to give it another second after that. Again, you can always trim any, if extended pause, but give it a second and wait for the ding. So again, with this version, we cannot record audio in this one from the website, so we don't have that option. So that's why you'd want the other version. What this one does offer is it does have this sort of, like I said, this one had the mouse click emphasis. So that's a feature that if you can get it to work correctly, is kind of handy for students. If you got a lot of things, you're trying to model, hey, click here and click there. The other thing is it has this little drawing tool. And like the mouse emphasis, I would say it's not quite up to, I don't know, it's not quite there. So it's going to give you and it's not permanent. It's just sort of more of an emphasis. And sometimes, and you can see I'm a little laggy right now. There it is. And then it kind of disappears after a couple of seconds. It's really just for emphasis. It's not gonna stay there permanently, but I said, hey, make sure you click this button right here, and hopefully you can see there. It's not all it's cracked up to be. If I do it very slowly, hey, make sure you click that one. Okay, and then it disappears. So that's a feature, another feature that the desktop version has. And you can see I am spinning here. Hopefully, there we go. Okay, and I almost want to say my recording went away, didn't it? But I think it did. So I'm going to go ahead and open that again, and we'll make a quick recording so that we can work with a finished product there. Okay, I'm going to open that. Wait for the countdown, wait for the ding. Okay, I'm going to open this up. Anyway, we'll just record this for a few seconds so that we can, I can show you what to do with a finished product. So again, you have the pause, there's that trash button that I often use. And then I'm going to just go ahead and say, hey, I'm done with this video. I did a great job, or at least good enough. So when you are done recording, and let me go ahead and get this out of there. I'm going to minimize that. When you're done recording, it takes you to this landing page where you have some options. Okay. So the first thing I probably want to do is change the names. Okay, what is it? We're gonna say Tim. I can't even spell my own name. Test video. Okay, right there. So we'll call it that. Good to go. If you look over here, we're going to skip over a few things and go to settings. Okay, so again, change the name for it. You can see it sort of has a live thumbnail for it. It kind of shows you a preview of what's happening on there, a little thing there. But if you click settings, you have some pieces here. So when people watch your video, depending on how you share it, if you share the link, it basically takes them to sort of this page without all the options to change things, right? So they're going to see a video on a web page. So you can choose whether or not they can leave comments, whether you get email notifications about those comments, whether they can use these emoji reactions down here. So you see these, you know, if it's your, you know, I don't know, you can choose whether or not to allow those, you know, have the animated thumbnail GIFs like it's doing, so you can see the movement on here. You can turn that off. Do you want the, I think the Loom branded player is it just sort of, you know, it's saying, hey, this video was brought to you by Loom. You know, it's free after all, so they want you to show that as much as possible. And do you want to show, or do you want to allow the viewer to download? So these are some options you're going to want to think about when you are ready to finish up your video. I'm going to just cancel those. Trim, we definitely want to do that, correct? Trim, it's going to take you to sort of an out screen, and you just click start trimming, and basically you can move these little red lines to wherever you want, and that's the section it's going to trim. So you could play it and go, ooh, you know, if you had a long pause at the end, or at the beginning, I should say, you could trim that out, and then you would just click that. And it sort of shows you right here where you're trimming from 0.1 to 3.4 in this 19-second video. So it's really easy to trim. It's a nice feature, and yes, you can trim in the middle as well. Just a simple thing. So I really like this feature for that. I'm going to go ahead and cancel this and go back to the video itself. This is a great feature, and I want to say this is only in the Pro version as well, and it's this call to action. And what this is if you want to attach something, it's got to be a link, but it could be a link to a document. And I thought I had, oh, there we go. So I'm going to do this call to action, and I'll show you what this looks like. It's a great feature if you want to, so if you want to show your kids a video and then say, now go to this resource, or go check out this website, or go check out this document or PowerPoint or whatever it is, right after you watch this video. So call to action, I'm going to actually go to this. I'm going to take this all summer in a day. So this is just a document, whether it's a PowerPoint or anything like that. If you want to get the link for it, you can just right click it and go share. And you can see it's already set to anyone with link can view this. So you have some options. People in Spokane Public Schools with the link, you might want to change it to that, just in case. But regardless, I'm just going to copy this link for now. Okay, and reduce that. So with this call to action, here's what it gives you. It creates this button, and the button won't be in the middle, but I'll show you. You can change the name of the button to, like, I think my story was all summer in a day. I'll just leave it there. The button link, I'm going to Control V right there. And you can see the button change its name. You can change the button color if it's really important to you. I'm going to go to some reds, and there's a good red right there. And you can even change the text color if you'd like, to dark right there. Okay, and then finally you can change the shape of the box if that's important to you, I guess, from slightly rounded. I'm starting to lag here a little bit, so hopefully, so I'm going to leave it right there for now because I'm getting a little laggy on my end here, and I'm going to go ahead and save that. Okay, and hopefully it will. And I just want to check if it did.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm going to open this up.
Okay.
Anyway, we'll just record this for a few seconds.
So what that does, you can see this, and actually, let me show you this. I'm going to play this video. So you see the box up in the corner, but when I you'll notice this. I'm going to take the mouse away from the video, and the box will disappear.
And so that we can, I can show you what to do with, a finished product. So again, you have the pause.
So the link, that call to action box, will go away if you take your mouse off of the video screen, and it'll appear there. And when I click it, it opens up to that document. Okay, and this could be the website that you who sent them to you, or the PowerPoint. So it's a really nice feature to have. Just if you've got more stuff. And then if you want to edit your thumbnail, have something up here, you can definitely do that, etc. All right. Real quick, any quick questions? I know I've gone through a lot. I got a couple more things on how to share this and where to put it. But are there any questions? I don't see anything in the chat, so I don't know if my chat is frozen, or I'm doing such a great job that you have no questions, or everyone's asleep. I'm not sure.
100%. It's because you're doing a great job, Tim.
I
And I can
appreciate.
just chime in with this too, is while Tim is a Loom Chrome extension advocate, I primarily use the app almost exclusively, because I'm not often recording system audio as part of the recordings I do. I'm usually just creating my voice, or I create my voice and I record it.
Nice.
So I generally just use the Loom app. And I do want to emphasize again, I think it was last week, the Loom app was having some troubles with I think it was a JavaScript issue. But again, I just re-downloaded the app or updated the app, and it worked great. It is a beta app, and I think they're still tweaking some things because it's kind of new. They started with a Chrome extension, but either one, again, it's about choosing the tool you're most comfortable with. So yeah, Loom is a great one. So fire away with questions. Will Loom notify you when Pro version is available for you? Hey, Christina, what's interesting is Loom has always been free for educators. You just have to put in your district email address, and you basically have it. You'll get an email that says welcome to Loom, and by default it's Loom Pro. I think part of the sign up process is you click I'm an educator or something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
And you automatically get it.
And there's only a couple other feet. It's that mouse there, that camera view, that left and right, the call to action button, which I do think is pretty valuable. So I would definitely recommend you upgrading, and it takes very little.
Oh yeah, I know what I was going to throw in there too. So that when you're flipping the camera back and forth with the Chrome extension, that's something to check. If you are wearing a shirt that has writing on it, it may look backwards after you've recorded it. So do a quick little recording, check to see if you need to flip your camera based on what you're wearing or things that are in the background. Because just like on a cell phone, it'll flip it. So like if you have, for example, the word love on the wall behind you, it might look like evil. So like that. And you may need to flip your camera based on text that is on screen when you're recording.
I don't think that there's a limit. I mean, there's not. I know I've recorded like 20-minute videos, so occasionally. So I know there's not a 5-minute limit with the Pro plan, and I have lots of videos in my gallery here.
Yeah, Tim and I both do. We record a lot of Loom videos, and we download. You showed the download, right? So, and we download those and then put them up on the district website. So you can. So far, I haven't reached a limit on number or minutes for video.
Right, and I haven't showed the download yet, so I'm going to show how to share here in just a little bit.
Super.
But I was just looking for any more quick questions before we move on to the last little bit of this. Yeah, so I think, okay, well, if you have more at the end, I just have a couple more things to show you. But again, this is a great, that call to action piece. The trim feature, easy. So let me show you. So now let's say you've got this finished. You are ready to share. You have some options. Now the easiest is just, and again, this is what I like about Loom. What I like about Loom, you keep me, anyway, that just popped in my head. Sorry about that. You just hit this link, and anywhere you would give your students a link, you would paste this. So it could be, you could paste this in Clever, right? Make it a link in Clever. In your team, in fact, let me bring my, I'm going to bring my team over here. Come on now. Maybe I'm a little laggy today, so maybe I won't bring my team over here. It was getting crazy for me there. Anyway, you could post that in your conversation in your team, in a tab in your team. I was going to try that, but it was freaking out on me for a little bit there. You could send this in an email to your students, and they would just click on it, and again, it would take them to a page similar to this. They wouldn't have all these options to edit and settings and things like that. And again, if you know, depending on what you set, you know, they might not see the emojis or comments or anything like that. But it is very simple. The other option, to add to that, if you really wanted, you know, security, you could invite only certain people. So you could, you know, include the emails here of people who would get this, or you could add a password to it. You can see right there. If you were worried about stuff like that, I haven't had any issues, but with just the link. But those are some possibilities. The other option is to download it, okay? And this is where, you know, you click on it. And like I said, you could kind of see the progress, and I don't know if you can see, I hope you can, but it actually just went to my download folder, and here's my Tim test video. So anywhere I could put, you know, anywhere I could upload, again, I was trying to upload my team here. I'm not gonna, it's getting a little wonky, but you could upload this to a file or a folder in your team. You could, you know, wherever you would put this for students, and now you have it all the time. So it's not just a link, it's an MP4, and it's a nice little piece there. Betsy did talk about testing it with the incognito link. So if you're not familiar with that, whenever you're in a browser, if you click on the three dots, so in Edge, it's called New in Private Window. But I think in Chrome, it's actually called Incognito Window. So if you open that up, it kind of looks like this. It's sort of dark mode, and you're like, what the heck? And you just paste that, and I'm going to go ahead and I want to go, okay? And my hope is it's going to take me there. And so now you can actually see what the student page would look like. See, there's none of that editing feature. They got the emojis, and they would just play it. And
Okay, I'm going to open this
and you
up.
can see the call to action button appears once you start it. Okay. So I tested it out. Looks like it worked. Boom, we're good to go. And really, guys, that is the essence of Loom. It's not a ton, but again, it's free and it's simple, and it's a great resource for the price, I would say. Any other quick questions?
Yeah, and one thing I want to point out too is my videos don't always start out great. I kind of like get a little frazzled at the beginning, or there's a delay. Loom is great that it has those very basic editing tools where you can trim off like the very beginning when you were just getting rolling, or at the very end if it took you a few seconds to click this, find and click the stop button, which is my classic when I'm using it. So you can easily trim those off. You can also take little chunks out of the middle if you want. Tim's showing you how to trim right now, but I almost use the trimming tool primarily for a published video at the very beginning and very end, where I'm trying to take out that where you're watching my mouse try and find the right button to start or stop. So just know that you have some really basic trimming tools there that are pretty handy.
Yeah. And then, and so I see Nancy, if you download this, would you copy and paste this to your teams? Yeah, so you could put it, and I want to say, like, for instance, you could, I'm trying to drag and it's just not giving me the options that I want here. Oh, almost.
So you could do this two ways in Teams. You could either add it to a folder You can
Yeah,
upload
that's
it
what
to a folder in Teams, or you could create a tab at the top of your team and just add a link, or you can just paste the link into a new conversation if you wanted to. Depends on how your students are used to accessing videos.
right.
So Lynette, to access videos you've already made, again, you just go to loom.com and log in, and they're just there.
There it is.
Again, Chad, anytime your chat freezes, just like we said at the beginning of the meeting, close the chat, reopen it, or you can go out to the distance learning channel in the school closure team and check the chat there. If you're watching via browser, just refresh your browser and the chat should come back up.
Okay, so I kind of just showed both ways, how to upload to a channel or how to upload to a folder and how to add it to a tab on top there, but both easy. I mean, real quick. The last, I did forget, I did want to show you. So think about all your other, all your videos. So you've made a bunch, you've made a few. So if you want to go and look at them, you click My Videos right here. And it'll take you to a bunch of them right here. So here's the one we just made. Here's some right here. I've got, you know, a lot of times I'll download them and delete them just because I don't, you know. But anyway, once you see them all, you'll notice that, you know, you can still rename them. You can download them from here, but you can't delete them. You have to open back up into the video. And if you want to delete it, you have to delete it here. But you can always go back to all those videos that you have just by clicking My Videos. And you can even start recording from here as well. I think that's it.
I'm going to show you how to record yourself for instructional videos using Microsoft Teams. So here I am in Teams. The first thing I'm going to do is go over to my calendar tab on the left. Once there, I'm going to click that Meet Now button. So this is a Meet Now meeting I'm going to have with just myself. I'm going to start by changing the title of the meeting, and I'm going to say Read Aloud Week of May 11th. I'm getting ready. So I'm going to give it a title. This will help you find the video in the Stream application after you've recorded it. And then you can make sure whether you want your video on when you start or not, or you can click your microphone on or off. I'm going to leave them as they are now, and I'm going to click Join Now. Okie doke. So now by default the people tab shows up. I'm going to go ahead and close that, and now it's full screen, just me. So I need to start the meeting recording so I can start my teacher read aloud. So I click the ... button and I click Start Recording. You'll see a pop-up at the top of the screen, and you can dismiss that. So now you are indeed recording in a meeting. It's just you. So then you would grab the book that you want to read aloud. This one is Ish. Peter Reynolds is a favorite author of mine. And you go through the read aloud. Or perhaps you want to share some content on screen. So I'm going to click Share Screen. If you want to include sounds or music from your computer, for example, if you have a video you're going to show students and you're going to talk as well, you'll need to check this box for Include System Audio. That way, any sounds that are made on your computer will also be included in the recording. And then a nifty way to do it is to just record your desktop. Then you can drag anything you want onto your desktop and record it. So for example, if you have a PowerPoint and you want to teach by clicking through this PowerPoint, you can do that. Normally, your picture would be in this bottom right corner, and you can move that around wherever you want. But because I'm recording myself, my picture won't show up. But that's okay. I think you get the idea. Or you can also minimize that if you wish. Okay, so here I've pulled a PowerPoint into my desktop to record for students. You could do a Word document, a website, anything you pull onto your desktop would now be recorded. So the trick then is to go back to your meeting, and I'm going to click on Teams. So then when I'm back in my meeting, I can stop sharing, and I can click the Stop Recording button. After I have stopped recording, there will be a pop-up, and I can go to the meeting chat and check the progress of that save. So here it says saving recording. Now to get to that video recording, you're going to go to Office 365, and I'm going to open Stream. Stream is a video hosting platform that Microsoft uses. You're going to go to My Content and click on Videos. And these by default are sorted by the most recent. So you can see that video has showed up here, the Read Aloud the week of May 11th. Now you have some options here. Click that Edit tool. And from here, this is where you can rename the video. You can give it a description. I would turn the comments off and then click Share. From here, you get a direct link to that video. And that is for users in our network. Just for students, they would have to log into their Office 365 account to see it. So then you would copy and paste wherever you normally would paste a link to a video. So then you can close it. Another option you have, I'm going to click Apply. Another option you have if you want to make this publicly available is to download this video first and then save it to, for example, your OneDrive, where you can get a public sharing link. So you can do that by clicking the ... and clicking Download Video. That will download to your Downloads folder on your computer, and you can drag that into your OneDrive or save it in another place where you can share it. By default, all staff have public sharing links accessible to them if they save it in their OneDrive, so know that you can do that. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the Camera app to create instructional videos to share with students. Start by going to the search box on your taskbar and typing in Camera. Go ahead and open it. This is the Windows 10 version, and here we are in the Camera app. For starters, the default is to be on a still photo, but you can easily switch to the video mode. And from here, it's really as easy as clicking the record button. You'll hear a little chime either in your speakers or on your headset like mine, and you can start recording. You could do a quick read aloud and share that, or you can create an instructional video using a do-it-yourself document camera or a whiteboard, whatever you have handy. Then you click stop at the end of your video, and you'll see a little thumbnail pops up at the bottom of the screen on the right. You can click on that to go to your camera roll. It'll show you what the video looks like. If you click the ... button, you can get some options for where it's stored, or you can share it directly from here. I recommend going to the ... and opening the folder. Here's the folder. It's in kind of an odd place. You have to go to your C drive users, your name, and on down the list. The greatest way to make this more usable for you and your students is to just drag that over into your OneDrive. Here's my OneDrive here. I'm going to go ahead and just drag this video over to my clipart file. Just for now. You can put it in whatever file you want. Whoops. Let me go ahead and close it first. Try again. All right, so now if I go to clipart, you'll see I have that video here. I'm going to wait for this. Right now it is syncing, and it has a little tiny blue swirly icon here. I'm got to wait for that green check mark to appear before I can share it. Here's an example of one that's already synced to this file. So I can right click on it. From here, click share, and now I have a public sharing link. You'll see that anyone with the link can view. So that is a great way to share it. Then you can just copy that link and you can add it to Clever or Teams or Blackboard, wherever you share links with your students. So there is also a Photos app on Windows 10 computers where you can edit video. So you're going to click, you want to start a new video project, and you'll give it a name if you want by clicking the edit buttons. Here we go. Now I can name it sample. I can open the clip bin, and I can just drag that into my project library. Or you can click on the project library and add more content. So then what you do is you just, you can edit from here, but I'm going to add it to my storyboard so I can do more editing. You can trim the video, you can split it, you can add text, you can add custom motions. The 3D effects are fun if you're into that kind of a thing. There's some filters available, and you can speed it up or slow it down. Just basic video editing tools that you can use. You can also use background music, which is fun because it can sync to your video. You can sync your video to the beat of the music, so keep that in mind. I'm going to click done, and then you can finish that video, and you can choose the video quality. If you want it to be high res, you would do the 1080p. If it's a smaller, if you want to share it via email, it'd have to be small, but you're losing that video quality. And then you would click export, and you tell it where to save, and then you can see that it's in an MP4 file format. So you can upload it to other places if you wish, for example, your OneDrive, and share it from there. So there's some basics of using the Camera app and the Photos app for creating instructional videos. Just know that that Photos app is the replacement for both the old Photo Story, if you guys remember that one, and Windows Movie Maker. They kind of took some of the favorite parts of both those two programs and mashed them up and popped them into the Photos app. I wish they would have come up with a different name than Photos app, because you would never know that it is also a video editor. You can access any Staff Tech resources and all of our tech support documentation. It's in Staff Tech resources, which is available in Clever. It is also a tab at the top of every channel in the school closure team. So now you can get to it there. It's just lots of videos and quick guides on all the different tech tools we have in the district, and we are creating them as quickly as we can.